On May 8th, 1993, David Spade and Christina Applegate settled in on the couch in Saturday Night's Live studio in New York. Moments later, motivational speaker Matt Foley, played by Chris Farley, came bursting through the door from the basement. What happens next, Rolling Stone magazine would later call the best comedy sketch of all time on Saturday Night Live.
First off, I am 35 years old, I am divorced, and I live in a van down by the river. Now you kids are probably thinking to yourself, I'm gonna take the world by the tail. I'm gonna wrap it around, pull it down, and put it in my pocket. Well, I'm here to tell you, you're probably going to find as you go out there, you're not going to amount to jack squat. We're in Madison, Wisconsin, the hometown of Chris Farley. This place, this junky looking laundromat behind us, used to be an improv theater. It's where the character of Matt Foley was first introduced to the public eye. It went from here, this laundromat, to the world, live from New York on Saturday night. In this video, we're gonna take you around Chris Farley's hometown. He's one of our favorite comedians of all time. We're gonna show you his home. We're gonna show you his school. We're gonna show you his grave. We've got it all. Plus a bunch of great Chris Farley stories. We love the guy. We cordially invite you to come along for the adventure.
Come along. This laundromat used to be the Ark Improv.
Chris Farley, of course, got his start here. So did several other famous comedians, Bonnie Hunt, Joan Cusack, and many more. Let's take a look inside and see if there's any remnants of it in there. Probably not. We'll go peek.
Come on. There may have been a stage over here or over here, and people may have been watching from right here. Yeah, just think about it. We are now walking up to Chris Farley's childhood home.
Exciting.
It's so exciting.
His dad owned an oil company here in town, and they lived in a very nice neighborhood right off a very large, beautiful lake. Very nice houses all through here. You wonder if that's where he got some of his ideas for how he was going to handle his father in the movie Tommy Boy, because in Tommy Boy, of course, his father was big time in business, and his real father was big time in business as well. We've also heard from his brother that his father was kind of rowdy with the kids. He would start up a little battle, get all the kids really wound up. Somebody would get hurt, and then he'd kind of blame the kids for it. Like, I told you this would happen. Y'all got too rowdy. And then the brother was like, but you're the one that started it. Here's the house right here. The Farley home. Of course, they were very strict Irish Catholics. They attended Mass all the time. They said when Farley was in college, he attended Mass every single day, is what one of his friends on the rugby team said. And actually on that rugby team, he met Father Matt Foley. Name familiar? Of course, because Matt Foley was the name he used for the motivational speaker. So that guy, he wasn't a father at the time. He wasn't a Catholic priest at the time, obviously. He was a college student on the rugby team, just like Chris. They became close friends. They stayed friends all through Farley's life. And actually, Matt Foley gave the talk at Chris Farley's funeral, which we're going to get over there here in just a minute and talk a little bit more about that. So he did the skit, named the guy after a man who would later become a priest. So I guess this guy was kind of a motivational type speaker and ended up becoming a priest. That's where he got it from.
So exciting. That's where it all began. Chris Farley spent many years here with his siblings. Their names were Tom Jr., John, Kevin, and Barbara. We bet that he played many tricks on his siblings. He probably pranked them daily on the regular. Yup, he probably scared them as they were trying to exit out of the bathroom, and he was like, yeah! Bah! And he's like, nah! And then it's like, no, not again, leave me alone, I'm just trying to wake up. Now would you look at that? I wonder if this is the same exact mailbox that the Farleys used to use when they owned the house.
We are at Edgewood High School of the Sacred Heart. It's a Catholic school here in Madison. This is where Chris Farley attended school. Imagine Chris Farley in a Catholic school. Anyway, it's a big,
beautiful campus. We'll show you some of our driving around it here in just a second. Right here is the football field, Edgewood High. This is where Chris Farley played nose guard for the high school football team.
Yeah, and of course, at this school, he was a class clown.
Just imagine that. Imagine Chris Farley. First of all, it's a Catholic school. So you got the whole Catholic thing of being real uptight.
And quiet.
Quiet. Then you got Chris Farley. I actually read a story that Farley's teachers met with Farley's mother at one point and told her, look, they're laughing at him, not with him. Chris Farley's response was, I don't care if they're laughing at me or with me. I just care that they're laughing. He just wanted people to laugh. He didn't care if they were laughing at him. So that was kind of the attitude he took all throughout his career. He didn't care. People were laughing at him. Some of our favorite skits on Saturday Night Live. Let's think about that while we're leaving here. I would say, of course, Matt Foley, motivational speaker, is number one for me. What about you?
I'd say number one for me is when he was sitting with Adam Sandler and David Spade dressed as a girl in like a cafeteria, and they're eating fries, and he's like, can I have a fry? And like, yeah, and he's like, no, 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 these are good. And I'm like, are you gonna save any for us? Adam Sandler said.
And then David Spade made some kind of comment about, I thought you were on a diet, thought you were trying to lose weight. He's like, just shut up. He got really mad and he got in his face. Pretty hilarious. We read that Chris Farley did not want to quit a scene. This was actually Bob Odenkirk. Bob Odenkirk played Saul on Breaking Bad and also on the spin-off show Better Call Saul. He was the writer who actually came up with the Matt Foley skit that was put on Saturday Night Live. He said he wrote all that skit except for the part of the table breaking, which was added in later. But he said that Chris Farley, when he was performing, he did not want to leave the stage until he got the other actors laughing during the scene, which is interesting because he would do things like play with his glasses, he would get in their faces, he would yell, he would start adjusting his pants. David Spade said in that Matt Foley scene that Farley got him in that one because in rehearsal, he was not messing around with his pants. He said he did that live on the show. So you can watch, when you watch it, after you watch our video, and a couple more of our videos, look up that scene of the Matt Foley and see David Spade's reaction. He's trying to cover his face because he's laughing. Chris Farley got him. He got him for sure in that scene because he started playing with his pants. He said in rehearsal, he didn't play with his pants. In the real live show, he starts adjusting his pants and getting in his face and yelling.
Down by the river.
And he got David Spade pretty tickled on that scene, so go watch it. All right, we're off. Now we turn to a more somber note. We're heading to the site of his funeral and the site of his grave.
Time to pay some respect.
That's right, we're gonna go pay our respects to Chris Farley.
While Chris Farley attended high school here, he enjoyed participating in wrestling, track, and being a part of the student council. He also was a member of the varsity football team. After Chris graduated high school, he decided to use his natural talents into making people laugh and turning it into an actual career. That's when he decided, yep, I'm doing it. I'm going to further pursue my dreams in becoming an actual comedian.
We're at Our Lady Queen of Peace Catholic Church. Beautiful church here in Madison. This is where funeral services were held before they went off to the cemetery. Now, when we think back of the time Chris Farley was on Saturday Night Live, the years he was on there, you think of those are the greatest years, in my opinion, the greatest years in Saturday Night Live history. You had Chris Rock, you had Adam Sandler, you had Tim Meadows, David Spade, all of these guys, just an incredible run of Saturday Night Live history. Many of those people showed up right here at this church to attend the services and then also went over to the funeral home where we're headed next. In the meantime, Heather's got a story she wants to tell.
Yeah, so Adam Sandler and Chris Farley, they used to prank people at the Saturday Night Live offices in Rockefeller. Okay, so Adam Sandler, he would pretend to be an old angry grandma. And, well, Chris, well, he thought it would be funny to pass gas into the phone while pranking people. So, yeah, they had some pretty cool memories pranking people.
Sounds like they had a lot of fun. Were you guys one of the ones that were pranked by them? How cool would that have been to be pranked by them?
Very cool.
All right, let's head over now to the cemetery.
We have now made our way on over to Resurrection Cemetery where Chris Farley was laid to rest. You would have seen Adam Sandler, Dan Aykroyd, and Rob Schneider here along with other celebrities that day.
Let's go on inside. Pay our respects to Chris Farley. This is at the chapel. It's called This Chapel, an expression of esteem. It's basically right when you enter the main entranceway to the cemetery. Let's go on in. A little service in here. Chris Farley, when you come into the cemetery, you come straight up to the front, circle around to the right side. Right up here. See Christopher Crosby Farley, February 15th, 1964, December 18th, 1997. It was actually 2 days before Christmas, December 23rd, 1997, when they laid him to rest here.
Sadly, Chris had several addictions. He had to deal with being addicted to food, drugs, and alcohol.
He struggled with that throughout much of his adult life. I think the fame probably had something to do with that. He got famous, he had all this money, people were giving him this stuff, and it made it easy for him to get into some of these things. We've seen this with a lot of famous people. His hero was James Belushi. Belushi died of a similar situation at the same age, 33 years old, that Chris did. And Chris was compared to him for many years throughout his life, and unfortunately his death timed up with him as well. Chris Farley also didn't enjoy always being caught up in the role of the big fat guy that everybody laughed at when he fell down, all that kind of stuff. He wanted to break out of it. And actually he had gotten into some other types of films that he was planning to do in the future. He actually had voiced Shrek for the movie Shrek. He had voiced 90% of the movie before he died. Unfortunately, when he died, that role was taken away. He also was planning another movie with David Spade, who he made a lot of movies with. Probably would have been a great movie. It would have been about Matt Foley, the motivational speaker. Plus he had a more dramatic movie coming up as well. Imagine for a second, if Chris Farley was still here, he would have been in his 50s now. What would he have done over the last 20 plus years? What do you think?
A lot more movies.
A lot of stuff.
And created a lot more laughs.
We've certainly missed out on a lot of years of Chris Farley. He did try to break the habits. He went through a rehab, I think about 8 times. He was planning to go back when he died, unfortunately. Sorry, were you gonna say something?
Over the course of 2 years, he was in and out of rehab several times. And so he tried hard.
Tried hard, and sadly came to an end. Actually, he was sober for 3 years. He celebrated with his friend Matt Foley, the one that it was named after, Father Matt Foley. Was very proud of him. Chris said, though, that it's tough when you try to sober up because nobody celebrates with you every milestone. At first, everybody's really happy, and for the first 30 days, 60 days. He said when you reach 90 days, you're not hearing from as many people. And yeah, it feels great to be sober still, but you're not really getting that pat on the back, and maybe people need a pat on the back when they're going through that kind of thing.
Another reason why, we believe that he also used substances is because he had mentioned throughout his career that he is always expected to be the one to bring laughter and to be the center of attention. And sometimes, as you can imagine, if you're feeling down and you really don't want to discuss it with people, they can see that you're acting different. So they're going to be like, what's wrong? And, that kind of makes you realize, okay, I got to stay in the same character. So, nobody can notice that anything's going on in my personal life and to not be bothered that way.
December 18th, 1997, a very sad day in the history of this country when we lost funny man Chris Farley. Y'all be sure to hit the like button, smash the subscribe button, and ring the notification bell so you can come along with us on future adventures.
Come along.